Welcome everyone to today's breaking news live stream here. Amazing IT professional talk and breaking news today. Welcome everyone, also recurring subscribers. Thanks for subscribing, thanks for watching. What is new today? Except 32% drop frames. Let's see how that continues. It's a recurring theme here of amazing Vodafone internet. And yeah, just as expected, you would think we are not prepared here, but actually we prepared here. 459. Let's see. Anyway, so what is new? Hold the press and hold your orders, because people in the audience recurringly ask me for advice regarding AMD ThinkPads. We had here this one A485 or something here a couple of months ago for review, and we were mostly satisfied here as general with a much more amazing Lenovo ThinkPad hardware implementation compared to PeakBugs, scissor keyboard, stuck keys, and not as water resistant or protected design stuff here on the Apple side. So what is new? Breaking news just here, not even 24 hours old. AMD just scored a huge Ryzen Pro win for the next Lenovo ThinkPads, which is of course completely amazing to see, because we certainly need more ThinkPads. And this is not just one model, but multiple models. You see all new ThinkPad X 395 in a, the clock in a, what, carry up to clock in a, anyway, 13.3 inches and up to Ryzen Pro 3700, and then also additional models like T something series, T495 or something. And this all is including AMD's second gen Ryzen Pro, which is nearly what we have taken a look at the other year. And our channel would not be this channel if we would not have some more news. So you want to stick here a couple of more minutes for some more details that we figured since then, because for the one thing of course this is not the A485, but nearly. The one thing we were not the most impressed was the thermal performance. It only had one heat pipe and it was rather thermal throttling rather quickly. Yeah, 1200. Thank you very much. Drop frames. Hey, Christian's audience. Let's see what's up. Really walk into something while watching this lot of my collecting. I brought someone while watching this on my way collecting a Lenovo. I brought last week. So what Lenovo have you brought? I need to optimize here my screen setup again. Not yet sure which format is the best. I hope you made an amazing decision and good deal and everything, because right now we test, of course, here the X1 Carbon for 4 weeks, a loaner unit from Lenovo, and so far we are mostly satisfied. But coming to the point of our channel's details, so to summarize here the details, this also includes here, as you see on the more sophisticated than Warp's website here, 14-inch T495, as well as up to a 7 Pro 3700U. And of course this is all press release material, and by the way, military standard something 810-G. Not really sure what the pseudo military specifies there, but for sure it can only be better than PeakBugs and scissor key stuck Apple keyboards. Also on top of this T495S. So completely rounding up here, we previously wondered where are all the models. They only had A485 and E485, and this is what the more details. So now coming to the more in-depth section, what you would normally hear on other news sites, what we wanted to quickly share for all of you, like Christian just making a buying decision. I hope a good one. Of course, slightly yoga something, says Christian in the audience. Let's see, yoga or whatever name was, Pentium Silver something. Just a toy. That is amazing. Happy to hear that. And again, we are mostly satisfied. Again, very fine material here. Also the keyboard, not like dust stuck key is really nice to the touch, and certainly track point here. But one thing, so this is certainly amazing, and a review coming up soon. But the only thing is, of course, ultra thin and light, slightly lacking in CPU power. Of course, not a big deal for regular Joe users, but maybe for IT professionals. Coming to the IT professionals, finally coming to my point here. First of all, for those who have previously looked at this, the E485 that we did not have here had slightly greater performance. I only found this out due to reading other people reviews and Reddit and such. And this is of course something you want to be aware, which is also a little bit of a shame that Lenovo had here 2 heat pipes or so. At least I have not personally disassembled this, not yet such a famous YouTuber here to get each and every model. But this is of course slightly set, made me wonder why Lenovo, I speculated a little bit, maybe Intel paid them good marketing money, because the entry-level cheaper E485 had a better performance here, Cinebench of 612. We had something, as far as I remember, 512 whatever, so 100 also points higher Cinebench score, and also saves you good ton of money. The only thing is, what I forgot maybe, or actually I think in the last video I mentioned it a little bit, what I find quite clever and good is the sync shutter, because I've seen in the meantime, not even so much myself, but plenty of other people who glue a sticker over their MacBook or some sort. It's of course much more elegant here with this plastic also slider, and also water spill resistant or something, at least a little bit proof keyboard here on the more professional ThinkPads that are the details that you like in the E485. Coming to the even more details here, IT details for professionals. What I mentioned already in the original video is that the thermal performance, or actually the CPU performance, or even also CPU and GPU performance, was not only lacking due to the cooling as it, but also additionally the latest AMD CPUs have this STAPM, some what was it, even some palm protection, something, whatever, that should probably have googled that before. Anyway, this is some super fancy term for some apparently semi-intelligent monitoring here and thermal throttling of your CPU, AMD Ryzen, for skin temperature, something adaptive, whatever, something. And other people figured out that you can actually tune this. So if you have such a ThinkPad, or even actually both are ThinkPads, but either the E485 or A485, there is hope that you can modify this here with tweaking the ACPI tables. That is actually the detail I mostly wanted to share here also. And so if you don't mind higher spinning fans or a higher temperature or whatever, then you can do that also without modifying the BIOS, for example, in bootloaders or the Linux kernel, dynamically loading there this ACPI DSDT tables. And what I only found out today, so this is what I wanted to share here today, and why we need specification and tinkering, because certainly this is amazing and very much welcome that people can tune their thermal envelope there and performance and behavior to their liking. But last but not least, there is a new universal way to modify this, because this is of course slightly fiddly there on the, especially if you do this on Windows. Maybe on Linux it might be slightly easier to modify your DSDT, but they figured now out, other cool hackers, and this is also what this channel is here, sharing this stuff also with others in this amazing do-it-yourself community. So other people have analyzed this ACPI stuff even more, and they figured out that they all have some common ACPI call there in common. Let's see, where was this? I tried to blah 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 modifying the BIOS. So the results are the same. I think this is even for Linux here, impressive as it is. This is some stamp fire or something, and this is calling this ACPI method, overriding this STAPM. Probably should have tried to pronounce this before starting the live stream. The more you practice, the more you learn. Anyway, so this is, as they write here, on recent AMD mobile and so on, system firmware is controlling most SOC power related functions such as configurable TPM parameters, so you can tweak them now dynamically, which is of course super handy and amazing. And as you see, relatively lightweight here in GitHub, as you can see. And yeah, so you can tweak the performance, so no need to wait for this new and certainly maybe slightly higher priced Lenovo Pro ThinkPads, but of course they bring you more features here. But if you have one, or of course as usual, unlike on the Apple Mac ecosystem, the PC prices also sometimes come down. So still, if you're looking for a good value here for your money, still this slightly older model with maybe modified ST-APM values there to tweak the performance. In case you need this, of course, this also makes the machine run hotter and maybe or certainly also decrease battery life. But for pro users like me, this might be worthwhile on the go. With that, it is also time to say here, why is this even interesting on the AMD side here of AMD versus Intel stuff? Because even, let me check, need to increase here desktop audio for this video, even Linus Tech Tips here realized that Intel is not everything. Let's play this tiny snippet of previous leak's WAN show here.
The mobile H chips? Surely they couldn't. That doesn't make any sense. No, that's gotta be consumer. Hold on a second, I gotta bring this up.
Yeah,
that can't be right. That cannot be right. Okay, here, hold on. Let's
the picture's a little small. It's a little tiny. You might want to open it.
It says click to zoom, but it doesn't work. Thanks, Hexus, you tried.
Click image to zoom.
All right, U series H. Holy balls, that does actually appear to be the plan. Yep, that's 45 watt to 65 watt BGA. That is a big problem. Holy balls, that all they're going to be doing is tuning the turbo boost again. Apparently, we're getting a U series 6 core, that's 45 watt to 65 watt BGA. That is a big problem. Sometime in holy balls, that all they're going to be doing is tuning the turbo boost again. Apparently, we're getting a U series 6 core. That's 45 watt to 65 watt BGA. That is a big problem. Sometime. Sorry.
Oh no.
Wow, that seems like a terrible plan.
Yeah.
Especially, have you seen some
they're just kind of screwed right now.
Have you seen some of AMD's mobile stuff lately? Mm-hmm. They actually have some legitimate looking mobile devices coming down the pipe. Like, we've got one from Lenovo on the shelf over there for a review that we're like, wow, this is like a sexy AMD laptop. What?
Yep. So far we have come that even big fans of high performance Intel CPUs realize that a decade of monopole kind of situation of one big player. And this is also why it is so vital that we have more than one CPU vendor here, because otherwise we have this performance stagnation, and also Intel not getting their latest silicon processor out of the door. So even Linus Tech Tips are laughing about latest Intel offerings, only upping the core count and increasing the thermal design power. And there you hear it even from those sides of the Atlantic here, or whichever side of the world you are. So yeah, there you heard it. Even they are surprised by Intel's lack of innovation, and why here some vendor like AMD is highly vital for the PC and whole IT industry as a whole. And the only thing I wonder, so the new, as you read here, the new ones come with AMD Ryzen Pro, and I need to research this in more detail. However, I think the Ryzen Pro here is mostly for this remote management, exactly this one single feature that I'm not the most thrilled about, because otherwise, of course, this website is slightly misleading. Performance, security, reliability, professional choice for IT pros. While I agree on the most parts, especially not to forget that AMD was the one who innovated here the 64-bit Intel x86 architecture side of things back in the day. Remember, Intel did their own unsuccessful Intenium 64 IA, Intel Advanced Architecture 64, that in the meantime is obsolete and abandonware. But this website, I have to say most things because precision boost, extended frequency range, XFR, something neural net prediction, which by the way I think this is in general their branch predictor as far as I remember, where they supposedly, apparently regarding to marketing terms anyway, using neural net for branch prediction as far as I remember. So all of this here, basically I have no idea why is this listed in Ryzen Pro, because as far as I remember here at least most of these details are also in the regular non-Pro Ryzen. And I think mostly the Pro was here for this remote management features, but correct me if I'm wrong, maybe also transparent secure memory encryption, though maybe, oops, didn't want to try that now. No, I don't want to try that now. And yeah, maybe this also secure boot process, exactly what we said yesterday, exactly the stuff that we don't really need. Except if we flash our own security encryption key in there for our own Linux booting, not to trust the NSA key. But beside from this, the Pro feature they might advertise most for Windows users is remote manageability, tracking, remote login administration, exactly that one single feature that I'm zero impressed about, and the one single feature that I would disable instantly, not to have any third party, you know, all the security vulnerabilities in Dell's, maybe also Lenovo's, if not Sony's Spectre back in the day. But yeah, anyway, Ryzen Pro for me mostly marketing argument, not really buying too much on this Pro moniker here. But aside from this, sums up totally amazing, because we need good laptops, and I wish I could call out more laptops here as outstanding, but to hold here from this other desk our recurring Microsoft Surface shame of fame here, Hall of Fame into the camera, because not only does the Surface have touch disease, dead zones, phantom touches, also the Surface keyboards here with similar Alcantara or something fabric glued onto the laptop, so you can't even service that piece of thing, not to say crap or shit there from the Microsoft side, so not really. Also you don't even have screws here, right? Also not on the Surface laptop. This is why we in general cannot, not at all, zero recommend this sort of things. But otherwise, I wish I could name more quality laptops. The MateBook, I think Huawei MateBook is relatively interesting, 3x2 form factor, which I would in general prefer. However, otherwise it is ultra slim and something, and in my opinion things does not need to get slimmer. This X1 Carbon, as I said, really impressed so far, completely amazing, except the CPU performance. But again, it's thin and ultra light compact something here. And then, in my opinion, we also need to really rethink, do we really want such ultra thin and light laptops, or do we want laptops where we can get work done, where we can ramp up the CPU performance in case we render some 3D models, some FPGA routing, synthesis, compiling something like your own project or Firefox and stuff, or the Linux kernel and so on. Because if you compile an all modular Linux kernel with like all modules, of course this is not really necessary what you need for developing the Linux kernel, but you can always change the configuration. But in my opinion, it's also annoying to just slim down the Linux kernel configuration just to optimize compile times, because if you compile an all modular meaning all drivers as module enabled as possible, what a normal distribution like Red Hat, SUSE, Debian or T2 would, at least in my opinion, usually do, takes like 30 minutes on such an ultra thin. And yeah, of course you don't do this every day, but if you do it, of course it's nicer if you can do this in 10 or 15 minutes instead of 30. But yeah, this is what we need here innovation for. I hope you enjoyed this quick overview. We have another comment in the audience that we can read out for a second. And only wanted to share this quickly, not really sure if I will continue to do this major thinking, philosophy or breaking news shout outs. I mostly wanted to do this for all of you who may go out and buy some ThinkPad right now and rather want a more configurable, higher performance, military grade and so on AMD ThinkPad. I hope you enjoyed this quick shout out and learned something. Of course, we have 8,644 drop frames, 24%. I hope the audio dropouts were not too bad, although we supposedly have 32 Mbit except if we don't. Let's see comments in the audience. John writes, doesn't AMD Ryzen mean cheaper, more Linux-friendly hardware for purchase? Doesn't AMD Ryzen mean cheaper, more Linux? Well, I think they are both similarly good. Cheaper maybe cheaper, more high performance. I think the only thing that I cannot criticize Intel for is Linux unfriendliness, of course. They have pretty outstanding open source 3D drivers there on the Mesa side, and usually their stuff works relatively well, if not quite good, maybe even better than in Windows, in my opinion anyway. But yeah, maybe certainly cheaper for higher performance. So maybe Lenovo keeps a little bit of the savings. Maybe they save like, let's say they save $50 and they only give 25% or $25 savings to the end user because maybe they want to not sell them too cheap, not too cheap looking or something. But yeah, certainly also higher graphic performance, right? So in my measurement, even for the previous ThinkPads, AMD ThinkPads, the graphic performance certainly was higher. And yeah, certainly that. And the only thing is, of course, I should mention that, yeah, we tested Thunderbolt on this one. The only drawback I should probably mention is we are here upcoming more professional in-depth channel. The only thing you obviously lose is Thunderbolt, then because this is right now mostly an Intel thing, but hopefully this changes sometime soon with USB 4 or the next AMD Silicon chipset something. Although in my opinion, Thunderbolt is slightly overrated. I think very few people will use this. Even I have not yet used it that much. I mostly got it here for testing, measurement, benchmarking, and just to have stock here for yeah, testing and development. Even, as I mentioned, plugging in a PCI card there in this Ryzen Core X. But then, yeah, again, I think in my opinion, I would rather, also this is highly expensive, right? The price was, what was it, $299 for just the case, plus a GPU, plus potentially a longer cable, because the cable that came with it was only so short or something. And in my opinion, better spend $100, euros or 200 more for a laptop with higher graphic performance, because then you not only have it more compact, you also save and you have it on the go, because this Ryzen Core Razer Core X, you can't really travel that easily with, and if you have this in a portable form factor, obviously, in my opinion, you save quite a lot and you can travel with it and have it with you if you go to a conference, to a customer, to the office, you name it. Thanks for watching, I hope you learned something, and I hope to see you soon for all the next breaking news or regular come. And in case you're interested for the cable situation, the Vodafone cable technician obviously didn't do much here, and they came to the conclusion that maybe they have some signal jamming here, something into this cable coax wire on the way to the office. So they want to investigate this in the next weeks. But there you also see, if you just accept their stupid response, like its resegmentation can take what was it, 9 to 15 months or something, and a Joe user sticks with it and nothing improves, and only when you are persistent there and tell them, hey, we run a YouTube business with it, eventually you get another answer. Let's see if they can fix something, because although we had nominally UC tested before the live stream 32 Mbit, this is not what we got, and we have 12,000 11,000 something drop frames, 25%, because that is what Cable Docs gives you, which is, by the way, also a testament to this Google something game live streaming, so much to that amazing experience if you want to experience latency and drop frames for your cloud gaming.